till about class 12th, I couldn't even speak in front of 10 people or anything like that. It was college when I started doing presentations and started speaking out, and since then I've kind of grown in marketing. I've studied marketing, did my MBA from Australia, and all of that happened. So that's like an average journey, but an interesting one.
Fantastic. No. It's a beautiful journey. It's always a beautiful journey. So wonderful. So how was so how did the transition happen from MBA in Australia to ShootGuru?
So basically, when I was doing my MBA in Australia, I was also working with an agency called Inbound Marketing Australia. And so the agency, then I kind of, graduated from one job to another, did credit card sales, went into sales, then came back to marketing. So I became an assistant manager marketing for a marketing company in Australia, and I started getting campaigns done. So my whole job and sole purpose was to get celebrity campaigns initiated, and I would hire photographers, I would hire creative directors. So I was the client side, the agency side of getting things done. But at the same time, I was always curious. So I would pick up my friends' cameras, or I had a small camera of my own and keep clicking pictures, do a lot of behind the scenes for any shoot we were on. And then one particular shoot, this one photographer, I think I pissed him off too much by giving too many tips. So he said, okay, here's the camera, shoot yourself. And I ended up doing some pictures which got selected. So, but since he was a very senior photographer, I apologized, and he kind of took me under his wing, and I learned a lot from him. So his name is Mike Moody. He's no more. He passed away a couple of years ago, but so that kind of got me interested into the technical side of photography. And in 2008, I moved back to India because of family things. And when I came back, I realized that the Indian market was not ready for marketing people. They needed sales only, and I didn't want to get into sales. Joined my dad's business. That didn't work out for me because it was already settled, too boring for me to actually get into it. I started going to ISKCON. So I follow ISKCON, and there I was part of the theater group. And in the theater group, again, now I kind of got exposed to the cultural side of everything. And one day we were sitting and they said, okay, let's make a short film. I said, okay, let's do a short film. So in 2009, I kind of made my own short film without any prior knowledge, just a little bit of experience what I got from Australia and with working with some filmmakers around the world. Executed a short film that took us 1 year to make because everybody was collaborating and everything. And yeah, that is how I started into filmmaking. And ShootGuru only came up, I think, 2017, when I realized that basic education in film and photography is still not there in India. When we hire creators pan India, there are things that we feel are missing. They are missing out on things. So we wanted to at least get the basics right. Hence the whole initiative that basic education in film or photography has to be either free or at least affordable came into action, and that has been the philosophy of ShootGuru since 2017.
Fantastic. Now, this is my calling. What was the moment that you kind of sunk in? Or was there a moment? Or was it just like a process that it's like
more than anything, it was a process. It was definitely a process. I had nothing else to do. I mean, I couldn't fit anywhere else. Camera was something I was very much comfortable with. I worked in the corporate world in Australia, came back to India, did not like the corporate world here, did not fit in quite well. And when I started making films, I suddenly realized, okay, this is what I want to do. I mean, I want to be my own boss for one fact, but at the same time, I have been a techie for almost all my life. And that side of me kind of pushed me to do more and more in this genre.
Wow, very cool. Now, as a cinematographer, how do you approach a new project?
See, more than a cinematographer, I look at projects as a full-fledged production. So if I look at it as only as a cinematographer, then my involvement is much lesser. It kind of starts a little bit at pre-production, then goes into production, and then I don't even bother about post-production. But if I look at it if I pick up a project if I pick it up as a production, then now I have an opportunity to know in and out of it. The first thing that when we get a brief from any client or any project, the first thing we ask them is, okay, what do you need this for?
Mm.
Why are you getting it done? I mean, there, there are so many times we found a
The
gap
why
or
behind, the emotion
yeah,
behind it, I think. Yeah.
more than the immersion, the usage also. What is the use case scenario? Who is your consumer?
Okay.
Who's going
Yeah.
to be the user of your product or your production? And 99% of the time, brands fail to answer that because they have something else in their mind and the brief is completely different. So we
Mm.
end up as well. So being an ex MBA in marketing, that gives me an edge wherein I can ask market-based questions to my clients and then, take my cinematographer and production side of it and kind of execute whatever they are wanting from us.
So you take a holistic approach to a brand,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. And that is absolutely an USP.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions people have about the space that you're in?
The biggest misconception is that anybody can shoot. People buy a camera, they feel, okay, I'm a cinematographer now. People who own expensive phones feel that they're cinematographers now. But what they really don't realize is that there is a process, there is a skill that is needed, some basic concepts, some basic, skill sets you need at least to execute content, to execute any kind of a shoot, be it photography, filmmaking. And if you don't possess those skill sets, if you don't possess, your core knowledge of how it has to be done, you will make mistakes. And that is a reason when you will see that a lot of creators pick up projects, a lot of creators, get into things, buy a camera, start a company, start a team, everything happens, and then they stop because they end up making mistakes that they did not know about and they did not even think or comprehend would happen in the whole process. And 99% of these mistakes are there because your basics are not clear.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and that is a very fundamental issue with our education system in terms of film and photography also, because there the basics they are teaching are at least 10 years old. The market changes, the dynamics have changed. There are very few schools pan India who actually teach the latest tech. Anybody coming out is still prehistoric in nature when it comes to technology, and they end up, wasting a lot of time in unlearning and learning. So that's the problem.
Wonderful. Now you are self-taught.
Yeah.
Okay. Now tell us about the process of self-teaching that you went through.
So I am from an era when there was nothing on YouTube. There were no tutorials available. There was no online classes, nothing happening. If you wanted offline, you could not go and assist senior people until unless you knew them very well. Matlab, until unless they're your uncle, aunts, or friends and whatever, they will not help you. I mean, the industry is designed such everybody considers you a competition and they will not let you in. So for me, it was the hardest to get basic knowledge in because I was already an MBA. My parents said, listen, we're not spending any more money on your education. So whatever you can do is on your own.
Right.
So the first short film that I made, I actually picked up books. I went and bought books about filmmaking. I went and talked to existing filmmakers, how they were doing things, what were the processes they were following. I hired people who had experience because at that time I was a producer and a director. Everything else I hired. So and the reason I did that was I wanted to see what people are doing. There I had my ups and downs. People were making a fool out of me. I was being overcharged. I wasted a lot of money. I wasted a lot of time. There were processes that could have been skipped and everything and all of that. But when we actually got into education, I got through FTII, but the course never started. The course got scrapped. There were 5 of us. We were sent to Mumbai to work as an intern. Now that was my learning stage. When at the age of 24, you becoming an intern in a city like Mumbai, you're from Delhi, you have nobody there. There is no godfather of yours who's going to hold your hand and take you through the process. Okay, okay, let's learn together. Uh, I really had to kind of, scrape the floor off to learn. So I learned from your lightmen, I learned from camera assistants, I learned from gaffers, I learned from spot boys. Because if you go and ask and learn from a senior guy, a director or a DOP, they do maybe 4, 5, 6 projects in a year, right? They would be working for, let's say, 100 days in a year. But these lightmen, the blue collared, as per se, technicians of our industry work 365 days, and their work experience is much higher. And that is what I
Absolutely.
realized. And me working with them, the opportunity I got to assist them was the actual learning curve for me, where I learned it like hands on the field, on the ground. And the biggest learning, is not a technical learning, is letting go of your ego in the whole process. And imagine at the age of 25, I made a mistake of not putting cards into a camera and I got slapped in front of 150 people. I had two options. I could have walked out. I said, listen, I don't give a shit. You can't slap me. Or I could have stayed back. I took the second option. I stayed back. And because of which, the senior person who actually reacted in that way took care of me for the next 3 months. And I learned the best of the best things out of that.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's a huge takeaway
Yeah.
for sure. That's a tremendous takeaway. Now, tell us about all kinds of challenges. Of course, this was a bit challenging the way you were going through it. Now, any other challenges? Like, talk to us about the challenges that you faced overall, just going forward with filmmaking, etc., and then
So the
how it all came
biggest challenge I faced, and what a lot of people are facing these days, is I never had a mentor. Never had somebody who would hold my hand and say, listen, this is what you're doing here is wrong. This is a better way of doing things, or you could do this differently. I never had that, right? Neither in my filmmaking process nor in the business process,
together.
because of which we made wrong decisions. Right after 2 years in the industry, I picked up the film. I wasn't ready. I had the equipment, I had some bit of a team, but we were not ready. We had zero experience. The only experienced person on set was me, who was coming from an internship in Mumbai with the films. And I thought, okay, well, wow, I can do this. And that was a serious, serious drawback for us. We lost a lot of money. Then again, okay, we kind of resettled. We came back again on our feet. I kind of ran through the whole process again. But again, no guidance. 5 years down the line, made the same mistake again, thinking, okay, now to we're ready. I mean, like, we have more equipment now, we have a more experienced team, we can do it. But again, we failed miserably, because I was ready, my team was ready, that the people who hired us were not. So, those kind of learning experience, if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have somebody telling you, listen, what you're doing is going to not work, or you're going to fall down right after this, is something people will miss out, because we can't judge it just because we don't have the experience to do it. You need an experienced person who has faced failures in their life, who can guide you what not to do and what to do, and what is the right way to do things. I mean, if you keep making those mistakes, I mean, we started making fun of ourselves, that we're like that chai ka biscuit, that it keeps falling inside the tea, but it still makes the tea more tastier. So we love doing what we're doing, but we keep falling. And but now we've
Learn
understood. Now we've understood and we've learned from our mistakes. So one thing I really, really missed and could have made a huge difference is having a mentor. Rest
mentor.
everything can be
Yeah.
taken. You can learn your skills, you can get the equipment, you can work with people, you can always collaborate. It's a day and age of collaboration, but if you don't have the right guidance, you will fall.
Mm. That is true. That is true. I think that is true for most of the fields.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the mentor also, choosing a mentor itself is huge task by itself.
Yeah, I mean, in today's day and age, I don't think there are many mentors.
Yeah,
You
you
could
have to
have
have the
you
right
could have
mentor.
teachers, you could have
Yeah,
influencers, but not mentors.
yeah, yeah. Because the mentor and the mentee relationship is a very
Yeah.
special one.
And more
And
than
I
that, the
think,
mentor is somebody who's burnt his fingers already, so that he doesn't let you burn yours. And if
right,
people don't
exactly.
come from that kind
Yes.
of an experience,
Mm,
like for
mm,
example, I'm coming out with a book that says
mm.
learn from my I couldn't write a book or a novel about what to do, but I can definitely write a book about what not to do. So
Of course,
that is
of
because
course. And
everybody
that's
else
a
is
great
teaching
thing.
you.
So what not to do equals to what to do, you know?
Exactly.
Exactly. So of course, wonderful. So any challenging collaboration that you can talk about, like whatever, whatever path you've been on?
Well,
When-
so we did a feature film in 2015 that was called Narayan. It was released. It was a theater release, and it's still running on YouTube. Uh, Collaboration with a friend. Very good story. Everything was beautiful, but we never had a script. So a 30-day project turned into 108 days. Everybody got really pissed off. The whole project that was supposed to be finished in 3 months took about a year to finish. When you make such mistakes, you lose credibility, you lose pace in front of your own team, and that really affected very bad. Because of which today I have the capability and the experience to shoot feature films, but I don't pick them up just because I can. I am still holding myself off from doing anything like that. So that's a very, very big experience that we've had in our life. And second is don't pick up projects that you are very lucrative. They could give you a lot of money, but always look at the things behind the money and judge things basis that, because um, you would pick up a project basis money, and what if the client is not good? What if the client is not what your aesthetics are about? They don't flow with your mindset and they have their own mindset and all of that. You will cry day in and out, then the money won't matter. So, you come from those kind of projects also, that we've learned from such projects where we've picked up projects that were great money, great everything, but we weren't happy doing them. So analyze, break down everything, make sure that you're ready for it, and then execute.
Basically, think through.
Yep.
Think through and make sure that you also take care of your personal brand.
Very,
Just
very
don't give
true.
that up. Yeah, right.
Very
No,
true.
I think that's very, very, very crucial. Very crucial. Now, nurturing aspiring filmmakers and photographers. Tell us a little more about the whole journey about that.
So, see, ShootGuru again, I like I said, was started because we felt there's something missing in the market. There is a gap between what people are learning and what is actually happening. Because whenever we would hire these creators from the industry, we would get the silliest of mistakes in their outputs, in the footage that was shot for us, be it photo, be it video, and those basics should not happen if you say that you're a photographer or a cinematographer or a content creator. So the idea has always been to handhold upcoming creators, take them through the process of getting the skills at par with what is happening around the world, expose them to technologies and products and equipment that they only see on Instagram or YouTube or anything, give them practical exposure. Because in our industry, if you don't have any kind of practical exposure, you're nothing. Everybody or anybody can learn on YouTube. Anybody can learn on Instagram. You have a lot of courses that run. You have Udemy, this, that, blah, blah, blah. But none of them give you practical exposure. Nobody gives you a camera in your hand. You learn how to fly a drone on YouTube. You practice on a simulator on your laptop, on your computer. But when you're actually there in the field, on the spot, and you're flying a machine that's 1.5 lakh rupees, your heart sinks if something goes wrong. So that practical exposure is very necessary, and that has been our core of teaching people, be it anywhere, be it individuals, freelancers, organizations, people working with organizations, or people running their own businesses, to start creating better content without making any stupid or silly mistakes. So the idea is to skill up people, get them at par with what is happening internationally and not only in India, and get them to create some really amazing content.
I love the fact that you have a global approach. As
Yeah.
soon as you said that, the international, it's very important because you don't know if the people you're skilling up, they're going to be local, or maybe they'll get an opportunity somewhere else in the world.
Of course, yeah.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Share us some success stories of Shoot Guru.
So there have been a lot. There have been so most of my students are running their own businesses now. They're running very successful freelance businesses or even production houses for that matter. One of our okay, my biggest success is somebody who's working with me right now. So there are three kids who come from not so great backgrounds. We did a workshop, a boot camp in their college. The college is was in one of the villages near in Haryana and near Gurgaon, and we started with 100 students. The idea was to train 100 students to start creating good content. By the end of the program, we had 40 left who finished the full program. Out of the 40 who finished the full program, everyone, like 20 actually applied for jobs and 5 actually took them up. So the last 5, out of which only 3 were left in the organization, are people who were still working with us. From not even knowing how a camera works, they can now shoot a short film on their own.
Wow.
From
That's
not even
amazing.
from not
That's
even
amazing.
understanding how drones work, they can fly drones. They can, so they shoot short films, they shoot podcasts, they shoot travel films, they fly drones, they have done international trips, and all of this is only possible, one, because of their passion towards it, and they have
Sure.
actually grasped the learning that they've got through us, the training, and they're kind of, you know, they're not one of those kids who feel कि यार आ गया करते हैं, like know it all kind of thing. There's
Mm.
somebody who understands, okay, no, this I've learned, I have to execute it now.
Of
And
course. Of
that has
course.
been, so overall, I feel that these kids are the success that I have, and they're proving to be, like, to an extent that my clients are now asking me, okay, how do I hire them? So, and they work independently. I don't need to be around them all the time, right from prepping to executing a shoot to even delivering edited films.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, how long did the process take from not knowing how to hold a camera to actually shooting a short film?
Less than 8 months.
Wonderful. So
Yeah,
that's
less than,
great.
now
That's
it's
great. So
now they've been
anybody
with me.
pursuing
Yeah,
a career, the message to our audience is that anybody thinking about pursuing a career in photography or cinematography can actually talk to ShootGuru about, you know, their career path, and within 8 months they should be good to go.
yeah. I mean, you don't need anything more
Fantastic.
than that. It's
So
all about practice.
you also would provide a little bit of internship, right?
So
Like
more than an
actually get
internship,
hands on
yeah,
something,
we do training programs.
right?
We take them to the full process, and the idea, like I said, is all about practice. The
Absolutely.
more you practice, the
Absolutely.
more you skill up. Be it anything, be it even writing, or be it running a camera, running a gimbal, a drone, or even
Mm,
editing film,
mm,
or
mm.
doing photography for that matter. You need to keep practicing. The more you practice, the more you skill up, the better you perform.
The better you get at it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
if you give me 6 months of your time dedicatedly, I will make sure that you become an independent actor after 6 months. That is the whole idea.
Very good. Very good. Wonderful. So, what do you think is the most essential skill for an aspiring filmmaker to develop early on in their career?
Hmm. I would say the skill of learning new things, because technology changes every minute,
Right. Right.
right? Especially for technical side of filmmaking and photography. If you're not up to date, if you're not at mark or at par with what the industry is telling you right now, you can't perform. And
Right.
for that, you need exposure to the latest things.
Mm, mm.
So you should have the capability of unlearning and relearning your skills and upgrading yourself every 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. You need to.
I think
And
the unlearn is a very
yeah,
important aspect, and then relearn and learn, that is also another aspect which
yeah,
is very important for life in general, I feel, these days.
yeah, very true.
Yeah. So, if you could collaborate with any filmmaker or an artist from the past or present, who would that be?
I would love to work with Anurag Kashyap.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, his style of filmmaking is something I aspire for, and maybe someday I do make something what he does.
Mm.
Maybe not in the dark genre, but the style of films that he
Yeah.
does.
Fantastic. Wonderful. So, if you weren't shooting, what would you be doing? What would,
I would be a chef. I would be cooking. I love
Oh,
cooking. So
wonderful. So talk to us about some of your hobbies.
my core hobby is my passion right now. I used to love camera. I used to love filmmaking and photography. That is what I'm doing. Traveling is a hobby. So I work with most of the tourism boards around the world, and I do a lot of tourism based, travel based content. At the same time, I love cook. I love to cook. Being a vegetarian, I do very specific kind of food because I'm a non-vegetarian turned vegetarian. So I'm one of those people who still misses meat and finds alternatives for it. So I do barbecues. That's what I'm famous for in and around my place, like all my friends and family. So I do barbecues with them. So this season is our barbecue season. So every Christmas, New Year's, we
Of
host.
course, yeah. That's fantastic. Now, I'm just curious, what kind of barbecue do you do?
So we do vegan barbecues. We get plant-based meat, and we get vegan sausages and kebabs, and so not your soya chops and all of that. Is this more, you know, different kind of like plant-based textured meat plus a lot of fruits and vegetables like broccolis and everything. So, vegetarian food has a huge option. It's not that only meat eaters can do.
No, of course it
Yeah,
does. Because,
so and plus I give opportunity to meat eaters to come to the barbecue and still enjoy the vegetarian food that we serve.
right. No, that was more of a personal interest question because at
Yeah,
times, I'm very selectively vegetarian. So
yeah.
at times, all of a sudden, I will think that okay, this week I'm not going to touch meat. So that's why I'm more curious
No,
for
there are a
from
lot
that
of
aspect.
options. There are a lot of options.
Lots of no, there are, and I think I love vegetarian as well. It's just that at times, I get swayed and think of meat. So what is after a tedious day at shoot? How do you unwind? Cooking.
Um, yeah, most of the times cooking, but I play games. Uh, if you see here, so I have a huge collection of consoles, and all those remotes are kept behind me. So this is like my game room, my lounge
Oh,
that
nice.
I created, and so there's a huge game collection right up there. So I collect all consoles. I play retro games. So that kind of takes me back to my childhood.
Of
And
course.
yeah,
True,
so that,
true, true. Now, if you could direct a film about your own life, what genre would it be? Who would play
Mm.
you?
Who would play me? I have no idea, but genre would be drama. Yeah, I've had one of the most dramatic lives, I think, and comedy. So it should have a. It will be a dark comedy.
Okay. All right. So what's next? What's next for Shoot Guru? What's next for you?
uh, I am releasing a book. Like I said, it's called "Learn from My Mistakes," and
Congratulations.
thank you.
I love the title. Love the title.
So that should come out in Feb. It's an ebook. It's mostly kind of a guideline for upcoming filmmakers and photographers of things not to
Mm.
do. And the same thing will be supported by a video interview of mine where I talk about every single bit in that book. Other than that, we are working on a web series that should go on floor by March, April. And
Mhm.
this month itself, we're working on a couple of short films and documentary films. So a lot of documentary and commercials are happening between the next.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Wonderful. So it's going to keep you very tied up and busy,
Yeah.
of course. But at the same time, when you're already, pursuing, passion and profession has merged already, I can hear.
Yeah.
So I think that's a beautiful story for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do some rapid fire.
Sure. Sure.
Favorite film of all time?
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay. One filmmaking tool you can't live without.
My phone.
Okay. The most challenging shoot you've ever done in one word.
In one word, I would say a. How do I kind of frame it nicely? But a pain in the butt client. So they're one of the toughest clients.
That's fine. We'll take that.
The
We'll take that. We'll take
shoots are fun, but the client was crazy.
that. We'll take that. If you could switch careers for a day, what would you choose?
Mm. A full-time traveler.
Oh, wow. You already travel, right?
Yeah, but for work. So I want to travel for travel.
You just want to travel.
Yeah.
Wonderful. One piece of advice you wish you'd received when you started filmmaking.
Manage your money well. Money management is something that filmmakers are very bad at, and I've learned it the very hard way. So manage your money well.
Wonderful. I think manage your money well, in all honesty, is something that schools have never taught us.
No.
And I think it's pretty much so important and
Yeah.
imperative in life. Pretty much everybody needs that. I don't think it's a profession, it's more of a personal
No, but
growth.
any filmmaker, I mean, believe me, anybody, be it the most successful filmmaker you sit in front of and you ask them, "Kaisa chal raha hai? Bahut paison ki kami hai." It's the same sentence coming out of everyone. I've never met any filmmaker who's like, "Okay, मतलब मजे में है, बहुत पैसा खर्च रहे हैं." No. So
Now, do
that's
you
the
guys
money.
now this is another question, just it just popped up. You guys take sponsors, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that should work out at times, given that,
Sometimes it does. It's not always easy.
Okay, of course not, of course. Nothing is that easy, for
Yeah.
sure, especially in like a creative field like yours.
Yeah.
Now, which film genre do you love but would never direct?
Comedy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the
Who's your,
hardest to direct.
that's true. Who's your filmmaking idol? I think
Anurag Kashyap.
I know you already
Yeah,
said that.
I want to
Biggest
make
biggest pet peeve on set.
biggest what?
Pet peeve on set.
I didn't get that
What's
question.
something you don't like on set?
Oh, okay. What I don't like on set, people standing around and doing nothing.
That's true. I think that's true for pretty much
If,
any.
if you're not doing anything, that means there's something wrong.
Yeah, what are you doing? Nothing. All right. What's your secret to staying calm under pressure during when on shoot?
Chanting. I wake up every morning. I chant. I thank the Supreme, and then I carry my day forward.
Wonderful, wonderful. Because you follow ISKCON, you said, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Would you rather shoot a big budget blockbuster or a small indie film?
A small indie film.
Wonderful. What's your go-to song or playlist to get in the zone before a shoot?
There's nothing specific as such, but if before a shoot I listen to jazz. That is something. Even if I'm prepping my studio, if I'm doing packing for a shoot, I prefer listening to jazz music than anything else.
No, lovely. Very nice. Yeah, then jazz is something to it. That's true. Would you rather film an intense action scene or an emotional quiet moment?
An emotional quiet moment.
What's the most bizarre request you've received from a client or a director?
Oh, there have been many. There have been so many. I would say yeah. So the most bizarre one I've got is that when some clients have asked me to get them something very specific to eat on a particular shoot because that was never planned for, and this happens usually with actors that come on board. So we've had very bizarre requests for food, and in places you can't even imagine getting stuff like that.
Wow, how interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, well, okay. Now let's talk a little bit about your social media.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that journey.
It just came up. I mean, I started putting out content on Instagram because we wanted to give out free advice. There were very few people in India doing it at that time. So the only reason I'm not an influencer is I'm more of a person who has a page, talks to you a lot. I answer every single DM that comes to me. I reply to every single person who talks to me. I give free advice and stuff like that. The thing is that I've been inconsistent in creating content because that is not my core. My core is still production. So because of that network that I've built, of the personal relationships I've tried building with my followers, is the growth that we've seen over the years. Nothing else.
Wonderful. Now, is there a particular, follower moment or a fan moment you'd like to share with us?
There have been many. I mean, the best that I've had is I was crossing from Frankfurt airport, and so I was heading to Switzerland for Swiss tourism shoot. So we were going through the security check, and so I opened my bag. There are a lot of cameras. There are drones. So the security guy immediately is like, "What is this? What are you doing?" There's another security guy. This young kid comes running up and say, "I know him. He's ShootGuru."
Oh
And
my
and he's
goodness!
like, he make big film, and he because he wasn't allowed to take a selfie with me because of his job profile, but he said, big fan of yours, follower. He helped me get through the whole security in like few seconds. Right after that
That
was
is
the best.
fantastic. That's something. That's
Yeah.
something.
This was
And when
right
it's
after
not even
COVID.
in your own
Yeah.
country, that is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Kudos. You're clearly doing something, impacting lives, basically. Wonderful. Tell us, feel free to share a couple more that come to your mind.
This is the like I mean the best that I've had. Other than this, there have been people who've come up, especially met me. I've got people wishing me birthdays if I'm in a different city, meeting me, coming to me and wishing me birthdays. The best one I've had, who's also now working with me, is Praveen, who's the senior editor with us now and a DOP as well. So I was in my initial days of starting ShootGuru with only I think 25,000 followers or something like that, and I kind of he would actually join us on a shoot in Mumbai. I was there in Mumbai for another shoot. He came and wished me birthday, and now he's working with me. So that whole journey of him first being a fan and then also being part of the family has been a very nice one that I've had.
Fantastic. So sweet. They're very, 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 very nice. Now tell us about what is your overall life mantra be?
Uh, my overall life mantra has always been to be humble, uh, and just be, just have gratitude for everything. I mean, a human life is given to us for a reason, and if we don't be humble or say, I know, I mean, it bites back at times. You feel like, why the hell am I being humble or having gratitude when people don't? But at the same, the peace of mind you get because of it is much bigger than anything else in your life.
100%. Gratitude is everything, I feel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was so nice speaking with you. All the best for everything. I think you're
Thank you
doing
so
a
much. Same to
fabulous,
you.
fabulous job.
Thank
And
you.
we'll stay in touch and talk soon.
Sure. Definitely. Take care,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you so
Bye bye.
much. Bye.
Bye.